you beautiful nerds. Welcome to the Drunk Banthas podcast, where we talk about sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and all the popular art that we love.
And also, we may get drunk while we do it.
Yes, mostly drunk.
Mostly.
Always encouraged, but never mandatory.
Never.
I am Jedi Master Grayson, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host and brother Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Your favorite cousin's right here. Your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber.
That's all facts. If you look that up in the book of science, it'll be right there. But guys,
social science.
Social science. Guys, we have a really great show for you tonight. It's not one of our typical live shows. We have the fantastic actor Nick Cordileone on. Nick, welcome to the show.
Oh, what? The crowd goes wild. I love it. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. This is amazing.
Yeah, man. We're huge fans of the show and huge fans of your character that came in the third season. Like, wow. I'm excited to get into the warrior of it all for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
But yeah, before we get into that, we'll ease on into that.
Yeah, you got to dip the foot into the pool. Yeah, you can't do it cold, just cold.
Yeah. We're not skinny dipping in the deep end at 4 o'clock in the morning. No.
Yeah.
It's a very specific situation. I feel like you're speaking from experience.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Lake Logan Martin in Alabama. Shout out.
But yeah, Nick, just curious, so you're an incredible actor, first of all. Like we said, we're big fans of your work on the show. But as far as acting, like, what was your introduction into acting? Was this like a lifelong dream of yours, or like, how did you get into it?
Yeah, so I think lifelong is a fair time frame. I, like most of us, I had a big imagination and loved to play and loved to, dress up and wear hats and create characters for different sort of, settings, playing. Speaking of Drunk Banthas, a lot of Star Wars play when I was, first, that's right around my time window of learning how to play.
Yeah.
And I would probably credit Harrison Ford with a lot of my early, I wanted to be an archaeologist. I wanted to be, a smuggler. I wanted to be arguably a robot, an android. But I definitely, I learned pretty early on that there is a job that lets you do all of those things. And as soon as I learned what an actor was, I was like, oh yeah, that's probably where I need to end up. So yeah, I got into it early and often, and studied it in the youth theater, church plays, junior high school. High school, I met my good friend Josh Stoddard, the co-showrunner for season 3 of Warrior. So we've been, basically lifelong friends. Yeah. Little friend nepotism to make sure that he finds a little role for me. No, that's not true at all. But it's and then went to undergrad in Northern Arizona University. Moved to San Diego with my pal Josh, and we lived there and did theater together. He moved to LA. I got married and moved to New York and became a sort of regional theater, kind of doing classical theater across North America. And then about 14 years ago, I got miraculously and way off the radar, I got hooked up with the Lion King national North American tour. And I've been doing that for the last 14 years until I got to push pause and come and do Warrior.
Awesome. When you started doing plays, were you doing more like comedies or dramas?
Yeah, early on, a lot of comedy. I did have sort of a bent towards Shakespeare. I had a facility for it and really loved it. But really, I would do kind of whatever they laid in front of us. Josh and I actually did Biloxi Blues together, which was kind of fun and hysterical. I would. It's
tough too. So kudos to you for having a niche for that. So
I was going to make some joke at the end where I don't understand Shakespeare, but but yeah, you just
Most actors don't either. They're just saying.
I am curious about the Lion King, because that's like obviously a very spectacular show. Like, what's that experience? What was that experience like?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You got me. I just came from. We finished about, let's see, I guess about maybe 25 minutes ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm in Columbus, Ohio right now, and we're doing. I've been doing it kind of 14 years straight. 52 weeks a year, 8 to 9 shows a week. You know, anywhere from 12 to 15 cities a year. And I play Timon, the meerkat, Hakuna Matata.
Excellent cast.
Yeah, right. It's got,
I think that's great.
Kind of typecasting for sure. I have a big, just a blast of a puppet that kind of sits in front of me. My puppet is sort of a modified bunraku puppet, where typically you'd have 3 performers sort of kind of all focused on bringing this puppet alive, and I'm sort of a one-man band with it, where I get to, I wear a big harness, and he's attached to me, and my feet are attached to his, and I kind of pop in from operating his hands to going to back into his head, and I sing and dance and do it all, and we perform for a couple thousand people a night. I'm super spoiled in that regard, and still feels like a rock concert every night. Just people jump to their feet. It's just it's amazing. There's nothing like it.
I was gonna say it's like you're John Bon Jovi every night.
Exactly. Yeah. I treat it like that. I absolutely treat it like that. I kind of walk around like king of the jungle.
Yeah, we're musicians, so I can imagine. Like, I know so many horror stories and great stories as well from being on the road. How strenuous is that? Because I know you got a family, and like 52 weeks out of the year. I don't know if they added another week, but I'm pretty sure that's all of the year.
That's all of them. That's right. Yeah.
To keep the number that we have. Yeah.
It's a bizarre muscle to develop and flex and keep fit. But we found something that works for our family. My wife is a professor at NYU. My daughter's now 22, but she was on the road with me for, I wouldn't want to say, she started around 2011 and did it all the way until COVID. So she and I were sort of a duo on the road. And then my wife would also spoil us and came out to almost every city that we could, that she could. So we found a way to kind of make, our holidays be, today it was in Nashville. This year it was in Nashville. Next year it'll be in Greenville, or, up in Vancouver, or, San Francisco. We just kind of say, what does our year look like? Where are we going to be for, Easter and birthdays? And it's sort of like just throwing a dart into a map and going like, oh, okay, I guess that's what life is this year.
Yeah,
it's like a traveling family circus. It sounds
absolutely.
I've always felt like I would enjoy it, but I hear so many people, be upset about it. When we would do shows, traveling shows, we were in a rock band, so when we would go do shows, my favorite city to do was Columbus, Georgia. Shout out to Columbus, Georgia. Soho. Okay. What was it Soho Bar and Grill or some shit?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember. I think it was Soho, yeah.
Anyway, shout out to them. Well, what is your favorite so far, at least, you know what I'm saying, out of all these years? What is your favorite spot to go? And also, what's your worst?
At least I knew it was coming. You never want to make anybody mad where you're like, hey, that's my hometown.
And if you don't want to give your least favorite city, then you can give your least favorite hotel.
Amazing. Yeah, I will give it because I reclaimed it. So the least favorite was Dayton, Ohio. I stayed in kind of a janky hotel. Somebody got shot there. Somebody's computer got stolen. Yeah. It was bottom of the barrel. And we were all like, oof, this is a rough one. And then we were going back several years later, and I said to myself, I refuse to let those experiences be what Dayton was. And we lived then in Centerville and kind of made it our mission to make sure that we had a great time. And it turned out great. It was just it was a blast, and we reclaimed it. I would throw. We've been to Ohio a bunch of times. All over. Right now we're in Columbus. We were just in Dayton again, Cincinnati, Cleveland. But my favorites have been probably, I love Austin, Texas. I love New Orleans a lot.
I love
a surprising one was Greenville.
What's Greenville?
Well, now I've been to both, but South Carolina was the surprise with they have the BMW driving experience down there where you can just like drive going nuts in BMWs. Yeah. We got to go do that, which was a blast.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The South has surprised me. You sort of get a different perspective traveling with the Lion King, and I drive the tour. And there's and I kind of look at the country a little differently than I would. I was probably, like a lot of people my skin tone, pretty sheltered, lived in kind of a bubble, and was like, this is all great. And then you kind of you get older, and you kind of go, oh boy, there's a lot going on in this country. So now I drive North America, and I kind of have a different perspective. And I go, so I was with the whole South, I was kind of getting like I had some learning to do. And then I was like, oh wait, mate, the South has a lot going for it, and it surprised me. I was kind of coming in maybe too hot the other way, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that it's got a lot of sort of counterculture, a lot of kind of wrestling with its past. And I'm sort of fortunate to kind of come in and get to plop down for anywhere from 3 to 9 weeks, so I can really learn what a city's all about. And I love it. I really love it. And so I don't have many cities that I don't like anymore, because I can usually find something that makes it special and makes it unique. And it just takes a little bit more either digging or checking in with locals. And, we kind of have an automatic local with the crews of the shows that the houses that we work at. So it's great. Yeah.
Clanton and Dothan, Alabama. Well, not Dothan. It's Clanton.
Yeah, Clanton, Alabama.
Yeah, just Clanton for me.
Clanton. Okay.
Y'all got no redeeming qualities down there.
Oh no.
We're from Alabama.
So. I lived in Montgomery for I did at Alabama Shakespeare. I did 6 months there. So I got to spend some time there. I fell in love with that. Yeah. So that's
our family.
Clanton I'll avoid.
Yeah. Clanton's a little north of Montgomery, about 40 minutes north of Montgomery.
Okay.
As well, y'all not doing nothing down there that I good
that I condone.
nothing that I condone.
Yep. Fair.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a big old country out there. Yeah, and like I definitely didn't I gained some experience and wisdom from like traveling from city to city, state to state. Even like coming out here to LA from Alabama, I've had friends from LA and Alabama fear for my safety when I go.
Yeah, right.
It's like
exactly.
Like, but there's danger everywhere. There's also great everywhere.
To that point, you said that you felt a little like sheltered, or at least unexposed. Where are you from? Like, what part of the country are you from?
So I was born in San Diego, California. So I definitely have sort of laid back kind of a chill sort of. I don't love the beach, but I have the beach in my personality. And then I moved around a bunch. My stepfather is a pastor, and so we moved to the Twin Cities. So I lived there for several years. Then we moved to Arizona, of all places, Phoenix, and then up to Flagstaff, and lived up there for probably a decade or some change. And now we're based out of Hoboken, New Jersey. So
okay,
nice.
Yeah, really all over.
It's like all over. You just missed the South, and like all you need to do is like live in Washington and Florida. And you pretty much
exactly. That's right. Yeah.
Where you live, though, they pretty much are very accepting of the California, style, California lifestyle mindset. Like
they're go with the flow. Yeah.
In Alabama, they're not really. Well, not just. I don't want to just pick on Alabama, but like all of you, all of you are not welcoming to Californians usually. So
that's right.
Good to see that you held on to it.
That's you got to stay who you are.
Yeah, stay on brand. Yeah, absolutely.
If Lion King taught me anything.
Lion King, let me tell you something. Being Timon is really hard. Let me tell you something. Anything. It's a deep character.
It's true. It's true.
And I am curious, since you speaking of your stage work, you obviously do stage work and film work, but I always feel like they're different skill sets. And I'm curious, do you have a preference? Because I mean, obviously they both take a lot of work, but do you have like a preference on how you prepare for one or the other?
So if in a perfect world, I would bounce project to project back and forth, because it's really, again, I am very spoiled to have, we come into packed houses every night. And so it's just, and again, it's people on their feet and kids, seeing their first show ever, and, folks maybe seeing their last show ever, and anywhere in between, and just adoring. So that's unlike anything in theater or film. And then I had this incredible opportunity, because I don't have a ton of film and television experience. So I was a little bit, apprehensive and like, oof, I don't know how my skill set translates over a season of a show that's already established and has great characters and great script and great, verisimilitude, all that kind of stuff. I was like, I'm just going to be plopped into this. Let's see what happens. But the writers did gave me such a gift in writing a guy who kind of comes in and doesn't care what the hierarchy is. They kind of gave me this sort of, the Amex Black to kind of come in and be like, I have a stack full of warrants, and if I don't like what you're doing, I'll send you off. And it's like this. They gave me automatic swagger to kind of come in, and it was such a great guy with all these big, a lot of alpha energy and real sort of people playing three-dimensional chess, to have somebody kind of clumsy but savvy. They really did me a solid by letting me just kind of come in and be kind of a little bit who I am, kind of happy-go-lucky, or maybe a little sadistic. I don't think I'm that, but it's sort of a little bit about, I don't care what the rules are here. He seemed sort of above. He had certainly sort of the anachronistic racism of the people of the time, but he also seemed kind of above it and be like, I don't know, if a Chinese fella has what I need, that's cool. If you want to marry somebody who's not your skin, that's cool too. And I might extort you, but I won't treat you differently.
Treat you just same as everybody else, terribly.
Yes.
Yes. It's gray and terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, your first introduction, I think it's like episode 2, like the first scene of season 3. It's like very powerful moments, like, yo, we gotta respect this dude right here off the bat. We know he's not playing any games, and then you kill 2 people, or you kill one dude and shoot another dude's hand off.
Body count. Like,
yep. Okay, well, all right, well, yeah, he's not playing any games. I felt that way, but now I know not to mess around with him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are scenes where it's just like he's like the lightest character in the room. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, like, he is the most straight to business. A lot of the characters in this show, actually, I'd say every character in this show is pretending to be someone that they're not. They are showing a face, but at the same time dealing with all these other internal situations, trying to fit into the external world that they're in. But your character is like absolutely sure of everything that he's doing. He's affirmed in all that there is. Everything in God's creation needs to follow what I say.
Yeah.
So how different did you feel that difference while on set and while like reading the script?
Well, yeah, it kind of gives you a real freedom to be yeah, the gift of, I mean, in any scene, to know what your character wants. It was so clear that he wants those plates. I don't care about, I mean, most of my scenes are, but where are my plates? You know, they kind of comes back to the, yeah, all this fine, all this, you know, the Game of Thrones you all are playing is great, but I need these plates. It's brass tacks.
Right.
Which is such a fun thing to then find different ways to go about that and be like, okay, well, I need this guy who got in a fight with his boss. So, and he knows the territory. That's great. Let's see, we got this guy who seems to, there was a scene that we had later on, scene is still there, but there was a scene where Koji comes in and he's kind of playing a little bit of like, you know, maybe I'm not going to tell you where these things are if you don't help me. And I kind of, I had a line where I stepped to him and I say, well, maybe we'll beat it out of you. And I was like, this guy is just oblivious. He's so, the stones on this guy that, you know, I'm endorsed by the president. But I could just see him kind of even picking a fight like that and maybe like, you know, getting, you know, maybe fighting dirty later on, but just this guy, this cocksure, you know, walking, I'm going to fight the best fighter in the show. Yeah, maybe we'll beat it at you. Okay, you're welcome to try.
Yeah, I liked sort of the underdog nature, like in like aesthetically of Mosley's character, the character of Mosley, because you know it is the Secret Service in its infancy, and you know he's not this hulking guy like you know Big Bill or even like Chief Atwood. Yeah. They kind of bolster and bluster a lot. But but you have like 10 times the confidence of any of them, which is like a really interesting performance.
Even the chief is like, you know, clearly insecure in every single way, but he's like boasting about everything, you know, over masculining. But he's, you know, going over the top. Yeah. But, you know, Mosley's just like, yo, well, let me get these plates. Look. Not even really worried about Richard Lee, but when it becomes necessary to like, you know, advance his needs, he goes after him. Unless you're about to say something, I wanted to ask you a kind of a silly question, but not a silly question.
Do it, and I'll tie in whatever I was thinking.
Because you have a lot of scenes with a lot of the characters. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the time, some of these characters never interact with each other. Because of your nature of your character, you end up bumping into a lot of the characters on the show. Who is your favorite character? I'm not going to ask you who your least favorite character is, but who is your favorite character to work with, or you know, your favorite actor? Obviously, people aren't characters, but
right.
Unless you're on USA. You're not a character, but
you're welcome there. I heard that.
But who's your favorite?
Okay, so that's a great question. The easy answer is Chow, because he's such a, you know, he's the nexus. All the spokes kind of come and go through him, whether it's the pond or in Chinatown or Longzhi, Hopway. Kind of, he is such a crux, and he knows it and utilizes it and commodifies it. So I definitely love, on paper, I love Chow. I love Hoon because he's got such a handle, and he is such a facile-minded performer and human, that he's fun to be around anyway, whether he's playing Chow or not. But I really did. It's sort of like the cities in North America. Each one, I'm like, oh man, I get to play here and get to goof off with, you know, this guy. And, you know, I had a blast with all the guys in the bullpen with, you know, Stone and Harrison, and, you know, even a little bit with KirstYn that I got to do. It was, you're right. It was another gift to be able to just bounce around. And I wish I'd been able to, you know, hang out more with, you know, Mark Dacascos and, you know, Kong Pak and Joe Taz. Joe Taslim is all these people are just better humans than they are characters, and they're great characters. So you just go, it's any excuse to goof off with them. I sopped it up like a sponge. I loved it. And then as you know, we were coming to the end of the season. Joe and I were talking about, sort of brainstorming. What goes on? And he goes, "Well, yeah, something happens, and you and I become our own Tong." I was like, "That's the best idea ever." There's something I need, and it's only Lee Young has it. It's like,
oh man,
yeah. I would watch the hell out of that show. Exactly.
Season 4 predictions. Yeah, that I'm here for. We have been coming up with some crazy side stories for Warrior, and also just movies. They're gonna be movies, I think.
Gotta be. Yeah, that's the only thing that'll hold it. The screen's too small.
Yeah. Let's just get everybody together and let's do some shorts.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
That's what really hits.
Yeah. Well, before you go on, I wanted to just speak to, man, everybody on the show, including yourself, looked sharp as hell. Everybody looked like they go into church, black church, not just
Yeah.
So, like, what was that like when you walk on set? I mean, you said, you show up season 3, like, and also, I don't know for anybody just watching the nature of the show, like, the show got canceled or not picked up, then picked back up by HBO, and then now you're moving into what I'm assuming is a little bit better production than what you're used to, and you're in South Africa.
Oh yeah.
What was that? What was that experience like?
Oh, mind blowing. First off, you go to Cape Town, which is this. It's really a once in a lifetime city. It feels like if you took some of France and smashed it into California and pulled in. I mean, it's already in Africa, but it's, you pull in the South African feel. It feels like such a hub of. I mean, we call America kind of a melting pot or a stew or whatever, and Cape Town really feels like. I mean, it's from all over, just people. I had folks from our show who have family in Cape Town, so there's all sorts of culture kind of all coming together. So that was already exciting. Then going to an HBO production was like mind blowing in bespoke, custom wool 3-piece suits and just a badass badge and I don't know if we ever got a full cool shot of the holster that I had, but it was like a breakaway holster where instead of like pulling it up like you would imagine, it just breaks straight out. So you just kind of it's just sort of pinched in there in this. I mean, come on, and it
was a straight murder.
Yeah, just like straight up, just out it comes, and
I love
hats,
that.
Our own specific hats. Oh, I loved it. I loved everything about it.
The Secret Service should still dress that way, in my opinion.
Yes. Oh, that brings me to the point I was going to say a while back. The Secret Service, like you said, in its infancy, I was reading this book about the first sort of superstar, if you could call it that, of the Secret Service. And he really did have that swagger of, it was like a Vice Squad in a way. They were doing a lot of what ATF does. They were doing a lot of what just like, deep cover stuff where they're in role, for half a year to try and, find some moonshine operation or, and he did a lot of this. The real character that I sort of based my guy on was bluffed the hell out of things. He would surround or he, enlist somebody. He'd be like, "Hey, you come here, hold this badge." And they'd yell into a moonshine operation. "We got you surrounded, everybody come out." And they kind of cuff themselves and walk out, and it'd just be the 3 guys. And he's like, "I got you." Like, in the world. And, he's doing, like sort of like, Guantanamo interrogation. He's like not a good dude at all, but he's like, we're going to get our man or whatever, whatever the thing is at all costs. And if you have to hire, 20 criminals to catch, 120, then that's what he's going to do. So
he's not a great guy. He's a murderer. He's clever. American hero.
Fun loving. Exactly.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
True American hero.
Yeah, and then to your point, again, coming to a lot of time, I got there early, and I didn't really have. I had a couple scenes, a couple scenes in every episode, so I had a lot of downtime. And the culture that Brett Chan and the showrunners developed there is that stunt tent is basically a come one, come all. We're going to share our skill sets. If you Shaolin sword, for 2 weeks, you're teaching Shaolin sword to everybody and anybody who wants to come.
That's awesome.
Front of camera, behind camera, everybody kind of comes, and they have their stuff that they have to do for the rest of the day. But early mornings, we all worked out together, stretched, did some skill sharing, and then you have the time to just sort of hang with everybody, whoever's not shooting, and again, kind of goof off and get to celebrate how cool everybody is. And it was just such a familial, warm, and it felt kind of like a theater troupe in that regard, where it's like, I might not have scenes with you, but we're definitely castmates, and we'll goof off. It was great. It's just absolutely nothing like it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, when you said it's just like a theater in that way, you guys are all on location as well, all together.
It's like theater camp.
yeah, it really, it's like when Josh called me. So it's the story of, I'm backstage, in between, Hakuna and Endless Night, and Josh texts me. He's like, "Hey, are you? Did they ever let you get time off?" And I was like, "I can ask." And he goes, "Yeah, well, there might be a role. You're probably not right for it, but we'll just throw it on tape and see what happens." And we did that, and then it's not quite it. Maybe there's other role you're probably not right for either. Let's just see if that's. And then we did that, and it's like, okay, well, you're in the running for these, but when do you need to ask Disney? And I was like, I'll ask if you think it's legit. I'll ask Disney. And he goes, yeah, you might want to ask. It's looking more and more legit. So it's like, all right. And they let me leave for 5.5 whatever months it was, and I got to just go. He said it's going to be like mini Marvel camp, where you can kind of get as jacked as you want, because we got a trainer on set where you can, anytime you want, you can just say, yeah, I want to get I want to look like Rob McElhenney and It's Always Sunny. So,
right?
yeah. Did I do that? No, not quite, but I tried.
Yeah, no, this sounds like the dopest set ever. I haven't heard of this as I don't know of anybody else who's done this on a television. I heard about this with movies.
Sure. Yeah.
But with television, but also this speaks to how good the choreography, stunt choreography and everything was in this show. Everybody, to your point, had access and to the training. So then everybody gets on set and everybody's comfortable with the movements and frame ups and everything. That explains why somebody like me just sitting around smoking weed, watching Sunday night television, like, oh man, they just whooped each other's ass. That was crazy. But to know that the reason that is why it comes, why it translates.
Yeah.
The reason it translates like that is because all the work that's being put in. To be honest, I don't know why, but recently I just started thinking about it, with shows like this especially. It's like you guys are like professional wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? And also I started thinking about stage play actors are like professional wrestlers, man. They go somewhere every week. They are in different cities all the time. Hotel life. Sometimes we ride together. And then you do a show in front of thousands of people all the time.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. You said, and you said circus life too. It's a lot like that. And musician. I mean, it's a hodgepodge of all that stuff. And really, the part that kind of blows my mind is that it is absolutely top down. It starts with the material, which is Bruce Lee, of course, which is then Shannon, who is the most gracious and warm ambassador for her father, her family's legacy, that you just kind of go, again, that trickle down, that starts there. Then you've got, Justin and Jonathan Tropper, Justin Lin, Jonathan Tropper. You've got these folks who, Tropper has this famous no assholes policy, where you just go, you may be the greatest actor in the world. If you're not cool on set, we'll probably work around. We don't need you. And then to my pals, Josh and Evan, when they took over show running for season 3, it's a continuation. It's that culture of warmth and generosity and collaboration that is it's unmistakable, and when you catch it, it's lightning in a bottle. So yeah, it's great that it translates.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, because you do have a lot of scenes with Tom Weston Jones, who plays Lee on the show. And I was curious, you guys have really great chemistry. It feels like you guys bounce off of each other. And despite despite the fact that Mosley is basically blackmailing Lee, they do seem to like each other a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like that'd be a great buddy comedy, cop comedy. How did you
That's another short.
Yeah, that's a whole exactly. Another spinoff. Come on, HBO.
Yeah.
What was your experience working with Tom, and also bouncing off of him in that character?
So Tom is again one of a kind. He did not have to be as cool as he is. He did not have to. Some guy who kind of comes. It could have been, my character could have been abrasive and oh man, but he had such a he bristled at the sort of confronting his past and having it kind of thrown in his face in a sort of exploitative way. But he really sort of let our scenes kind of sizzle with that sort of budding cop, sort of brotherhood kind of quality,
right.
To the point where it was, I don't know how much of it was, written in there, but he really did let me into to those scenes and sort of took me in behind the camera too, and just sort of said, here's where this is, and here's how this works, and I got to goof off with he and his family. And vice versa. And it just kind of really made it a rich, sort of kind of altruistic, holistic experience that I could have seen it being, on another set or in a movie or something, being like, oh yeah, you stand there and I do what I've created over 2 seasons at you. And
Right.
Not that at all. He was like, we treated it like we kind of dug into stuff, and we tried things, and they were really generous with that on set too. And there's interplay between the writers and the directors and the people who've been doing it and now kind of embodying it for all these years, where they can say, would Lee do this, or might he phrase it this way, and then, or can you give me a way to phrase it that says sort of that highlights this, and really kind of back and forth. And just hanging out with him was an absolute joy. And to be a different version of what he has with Bill,
right.
To be a whole and let him show it totally. And then what he showed it with he and Hoon in that sort of bottle episode in 6, where it's them on the speaking of Georgia on the train.
Yeah, it was a midnight train to Georgia.
Yeah,
exactly. It really could have been one of those situations like Lee is the white hat on the show. He is the white hat.
Yeah.
So it could have been one of those situations where he's like, get it how you get it, get it out the mud like I did, you know what I mean? Like whatever. But to speak into how much he gave you in those scenes, man, it really speaks to how connected you guys were. Because I've been doing little voice acting classes, and the problem with voice acting classes is you don't really have anybody to to give you anything, you know.
Yeah, bounce off. Yeah.
I don't have anybody to bounce off of, and it can't be anything better than being like linked in with somebody, connected to somebody.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a fun thing too when you have folks who have maybe a similar process and sort of and maybe dig in the same way you do. So there's a little bit of a shorthand with theater folks where you kind of go, you show up and you're ready, so you can give maybe 5 shades of whatever the scene is, and when you can click in with that with someone and go, oh, I see where we're going. Yeah, let me give you some of this. And when you can be an ingredient in the other person's performance, that's really, really special. And he afforded that, and then the culture affords that, and says it kind of really lets there be air for that to happen.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite scene? You got a lot of scenes. You know, a lot of episodes, season 3.
Okay, well, hands down, that ice house gunfight is on paper. I was like, it's that scene from True Romance. When everybody comes and it's like, no, you put the fucking gun, you put the fucking gun, all that kind of stuff. And I love how messy that got, where it's like, and Chow kind of does that. He's like, hey, yeah, the plates are going to be here. Oh yeah, here's he's kind of telling everybody, which it's all going to be there, and then maybe I'll kind of tiptoe away. Yeah, it could solve a lot of problems at once. But there was something so great about that. The energy of it. We're shouting at each other for a couple of days. Arms are getting tired because those guns are a little heavy, and we're like, okay. But that was an absolute blast, and it was so fun to have so many people on set at once. That's the wedding was that way too, where I got to sneak in. There's no reason for me to be at that wedding. I just love being there. It's like, oh man, this is great. Yeah, just that he would, and the reason that there isn't a reason is why he's there is even better. Where you're just like, oh, okay, I shouldn't be here. All right, here I am.
I'm gonna have a drink.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of those times where you're a lot of folks on camera together, and then also in the tents where everybody's there at the same time is also just a great time to just hang out all day long. Which is we're just totally spoiled in that regard. There are other ones. Also, another one that you mentioned, that first scene. Mm-hmm. That first scene is me and Josh, who is my lifelong best friend. So not only did he get me onto the gig and show run the whole thing and write a bunch of the episodes, but then he goes, "Hey, I'm going to be your partner that buys it at the beginning." And so, and he was so like a brother, like a best friend. The whole time he keeps whispering to me, can you believe that we're doing this? This was our childhood dream, to make movies at this level and do it together, where you just kind of go, we were pinching ourselves all the time. He was a little bit more, in it because he's been doing it. But then for the two of us to just kind of look at each other and go like, what in the world? And he was so good at making me take inventory and not letting those moments pass by, where you just kind of, like glaze it over and just kind of going, oh, this is great. And then that we got to do that moment together was just, it doesn't get better than that.
Not at all. I can't even imagine, man.
Incredible. Yeah, being able to like live out your dreams with your old friend like that. I love hearing stories like that, man.
Absolutely. And it's also funny because that means like you didn't need any motivation for your buddy getting killed. Like,
right. Yeah, go kick that guy in the face.
Man.
You shot my partner. God damn it. Yeah. And then they did a great thing. It's funny that those are my two favorite scenes, because at the end, slowly Lee has become a partner type, and I say to him, I don't know why, but I like you. And then it's a very similar thing, almost. That's pretty intricate to have him creeping forward to get the plates, and I'm guarding just like I was in the beginning, and then to not let him get it. It is sort of my own little mini arc where, I had everything that I wanted, but this time I didn't let my partner die. That's kind of a fun little baby step of a character arc and a redemption.
Yeah, for sure. Is how
absolutely.
as singular as that character's like mindset was the whole time. It was just like a little dip into his humanity. It was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, he actually cares about this guy.
Yeah.
And I know you just sang your praises about just like why this experience on the show was so incredible. So it's going to be hard to top whatever the next the next show you do work on. But I'm curious.
Hopefully, it's Warrior.
There you go. There you go. That's no substitutes.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's Warrior season 4 and 5.
Fingers and toes crossed. But I am curious, like, are there any shows out there that are running right now that you really enjoy, and you're just like, I really like what they're doing. I'd love to play in that sandbox.
That's a great question. I mean, it's easy to say the Bear because they get such juicy, that's an amazing show with solid characters. That Thanksgiving, come on, everybody gets to shine. You see colors from people that character actors and comedians that so well, and yet they get to show just like real subtle things and then way over the top things. And I mean, that's the freedom on that set. I'm sure that maybe is similar to what we were dealing with. And then, of course, any of the, Star Wars, Marvel. That's where I live too. So we have that love language in common. And even when if it's not one that's not quite up to snuff, just to be in that world would still be kind of like, yeah, no, listen, hand me a lightsaber. There's nothing wrong with
that. I can see you on the Bear. Like I could definitely see you making your way in there. And you're really great at, I guess, just turning into your character, because I would have never guessed that your personality is like this from watching.
yeah
mostly. So you're really good at transforming, and you're very empathetic actors. Like
excellent.
I can't wait to see the next project,
because Mosley was a bad at, like, he was scary. But I was like, rewatching, like, why is he scary though? Why am I scary to this person?
Yeah. Well, there's when you don't know, when you don't see where somebody's line is, that is a little chilling, where you kind of go, oh, he seems kind of affable, quick to a laugh, but he's torturing that guy straight right here in front of us. So you kind of go, and even when it seems like I'm getting close with Lee, and then he's kind of like going, no, I'm not, and I'm like, I just got shot, and so you are doing this. It kind of, you go, that shifting goalpost is unsettling. You're right.
Yeah, my favorite scene is when he's with the chief. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, Chief Atwood.
Chief Atwood, and their introduction. That was like, it's gonna be that kind of meeting.
Again, just a Christmas present of a thing that and then the way they wrote "mine own," which sounds so just off, just off from how you would phrase it. You kind of go, "That's delicious, man." You really just make a meal out of it.
Oh man, you murdered that, because I just watched that just for fun earlier today. I was like,
yes,
mine own, man. I was like, did they write that, or did he just say mine own?
They wrote it, and I said, I'm gonna. It's like just like teed off. Crack.
I was like, it don't get no more old timey than that.
Yeah. You definitely knocked it out of the park, man.
Yeah. Oh man, thank you so much.
Was there any other? Do you have any more questions before we?
I probably had something stupid like.
That's where we live.
What song are you listening to right now in your car? What's nobody got to see?
Okay, that's a great question. So my daughter just is visiting me. She just got in last night, and she Chappelle. We say it wrong, but what's the artist's name? I'm going to have it here for you. Chapel Roan. Chapel Roan. Yes, which we always want to say Chappelle Roan. Yeah. Dave Chappelle Roan. But we were just listening to a song, Phenomenon. is what we were listening to. And it's tongue in cheek and fun and has a point of view. We were like, oh, it's great. It's just so much fun.
It looks
That's what we're listening to.
Flashy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have
colorful.
I'm gonna have future put some video of Chappell.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. I'll send it to you.
I had one question that I wrote down. It's another stupid
one. Yeah, go.
Okay. You got a score to your life, right?
Oh, okay.
What song would play when you walk into a room? Like what is
intro music?
What is your intro music? You get a song, you just walk in, just you know what I'm saying? Like
that's
like whatever.
That's good. Okay, so I'm gonna steal one. It's a song that I used to get amped for in track when I ran track in high school, and there was a song I would play to kind of get into that sort of that competitive headspace. And again, to bring in Josh into this, my buddy, as he was doing sort of a sizzle reel to sort of get people excited for Warrior, they did a cello version of Thunderstruck, AC/DC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm going to steal that cello version of Thunderstruck where it's that sounds adrenaline going. Yeah. Incredible.
That is a way better answer than I thought. I'm not going to lie. Thunderstruck.
What are yours? Do you have them already set, or would you have to come up with
me? Man, I don't know. Probably. Man, I don't know. I don't know for me. What, you got one?
Probably The Song That Never Ends by Lamb Chops playing.
Oh yeah, that's
your scene never ends. You just keep coming in. Yeah.
That shit pisses me off.
I was like, I'll come in for breakfast, and then like the song just keeps playing while I'm eating my eggs. It's like, sir, could you leave? People are trying to
this is tiresome. And then the easy answer, of course, is and Quentin did it, and we've done it on Warrior, is Little Green Bag. That song is just, it doesn't get better than watching Koji walk down. Or Joe Taslim.
I would probably walk out to. Oh, I think I'd walk out to this. Yeah, that's how I'm coming out immediately.
Everybody.
Yeah, so they'd be terrified or they'd be fucking excited.
Yeah, that's right.
When Susie walk in, let's fucking go.
Exactly.
Let's go. It's a Super Bowl every time I walk into a building.
That's right.
But Nick, well, this has been awesome. We don't want to keep you for too long. I feel like we could chat for hours just about nerd shit. But
absolutely, that's next time.
We'll had a great time chatting with you. But do you want to let the people know where they can find you on the interwebs?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm listen to that. I'm at Milk Toast Points. On Instagram. Everyone knows how to spell that, right?
That's a fucking amazing name.
I know all those words.
Yeah. Milk Toast, MILQUE, Toast Points. And what else? That's how you find me, I think. That and IMDb and just like yelling on the street corner, just like,
yeah.
Hey! Nick, where'd you go?
Oh man, then somebody's gonna be like, "Hey Nick,"
that's it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I'm walking in. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to offend any New Yorkers. It's my accent.
As an Italian American and a New Yorker, I can. Take the heat for all of us.
I got my New York pass. Please don't send me any weird music.
And guys, if you can't remember all of that, it's going to be in the video description. So don't use those memory muscles. Just scroll. No. Check out all that info in the video description. And while you're down there, leave a like, subscribe. Just make some activity if you feel so inclined. Yeah, it's super easy.
Please.
And Nick, again, this is we loved having you on. We'll definitely have to have you on again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. This was a blast.
Yeah.
And the guys, thanks so much for watching and or listening to the Drunk Banthas podcast. We do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific time live. But you will be able to catch this episode. This is going to be dropping on a Wednesday. Yeah, probably Wednesday.
It'll be
Wednesday.
It'll be a day. It'll be during the day.
But guys, don't forget to check us out on likewise TikTok, Letterboxd, all the internet things at the Drunk Banthas. Until next time, stay safe, my little hop way, and may the force be with you.